Good evening. This meeting of the Jefferson County Board will now come to order. Roll call, please.
Okay, we have 26 present and 4 absent.
Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Waymeyer, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're invited to remain standing for a moment to contemplate our service to the public. Thank you. Are we in compliance with open meeting law?
we are, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. Would anybody like the order of the agenda altered in any way? Okay, we'll proceed as printed. Next is a special order of business, a resolution recognizing the Walter family and Walter Grain Farms for their dedication and commitment to Jefferson County agriculture and related industries by hosting Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019. Supervisors Astro, please.
Thank you. Having been appointed to be part of the executive committee for this venture, I'm proud to read this. Recognizing the Walter family and Walter Grain Farms for their dedication and commitment to Jefferson County agriculture and related industries by hosting Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019. In 1952, several agencies formed a corporation called Wisconsin Farm Progress Days Incorporated, now known as Wisconsin Farm Technology Days, with the first event being held in 1954. Its purpose was to demonstrate university research findings to Wisconsin citizens on a functioning farm at an outdoor show. The mission of the show was to promote technologies in agriculture and related industries and to provide leadership development and education. Today, Wisconsin Farm Technology Days is the largest ag show in Wisconsin and one of the largest in the nation. The 3-day outdoor event showcases the latest improvements in production agriculture, including many practical applications of recent research findings and technological developments. Each year, Wisconsin Farm Technology Days is held in a different Wisconsin county on a different host family farm. The Walter family offered to host this event in 2019 at the Walter Grain Farm in Johnson Creek, 35 years after their family first hosted the event in 1984. This resolution formally recognizes the dedication and commitment the Walter family and Walter Grain Farms have demonstrated to Jefferson County agriculture and related industries by hosting Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019. The University Extension Education Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 12, 2019, and recommended forwarding it to the County Board for approval. Whereas the mission of Wisconsin Farm Technology Days is to promote technologies in agriculture and related industries and to provide leadership development and education. And whereas Jefferson County has a significant history of agriculture, beginning with the Estland settlements through the efforts of W.D. Horde for dairy farming and continuing today with national and international agribusiness companies. And whereas 60% of attendees of Wisconsin Farm Technology Days live within a 75-mile radius of the event, and whereas over 600 exhibitors were on site, to demonstrate their business and products to those attending Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019 in Jefferson County. And whereas Wisconsin Farm Technology Days provide a county the opportunity to highlight itself, and Jefferson County has within its borders the state's largest nursery, the largest ethanol plant, the largest trout farm, along with significant pickle and meat industries and agribusiness technology development. And whereas agriculture is the leading economic engine in Jefferson County, and the Walter Farm is proud of their farm, community, and county. And whereas Bud and Bev Walter, Mike's parents, proudly hosted Wisconsin Farm Progress Days in Jefferson County in 1984. And whereas Mike and Sarah Walter, with son Adam and his wife Heather, and son Brad and his wife Christine, again hosted Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019 in Jefferson County at the same location, marking the 35th anniversary of the first show the Walter family hosted. And whereas through their efforts in hosting Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019 in Jefferson County, the Walter family and Walter Grain Farms have demonstrated their dedication and commitment to Jefferson County agriculture and related industries. Now therefore be it resolved that the Walter family and Walter Grain Farms are hereby formally recognized by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors for their dedication and commitment to Jefferson County agriculture and related industries by hosting Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2019. I just want to comment that I was able to be at the Technology Days back in 1984 also. So, and also I just want to say that we had great cooperation from the Walter family. They were very patient, very professional, and did an awful lot of work to have helped put on the show. And also it gave us a chance as the committee and the volunteers to get to know each other. We got to know people we would never have met otherwise from within the county. I had two grandsons that volunteered and put in over 80 hours of their time and enjoyed it thoroughly. So I think it's just a good chance for, all the way around. So I recommended that this resolution be adopted.
Moved and seconded to recognize the Walter family for their contribution to Farm Technology Days. Before we open it up for discussion and voting, we have two representatives of the Walter family here. Would you care to stand and be recognized, gentlemen? And is there any discussion on the resolution? On behalf of the board, thank you for your service to Jefferson County and the state of Wisconsin. All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Thank you. Next is approval of the July 9th, 2019 meeting minutes. Supervisor Renard, please.
I move approval of the minutes as presented.
Moved and seconded to approve the July 9th County Board meeting minutes. Discussion. Supervisor Kennard.
I noticed they have my name spelt wrong on page 59 at the bottom there, and I would like to have it entered that I abstain for a potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. We can make that notation. Do we need a formal amendment? Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. We know that the sweetest sound and the sweetest sight of everybody is their own name, and we'd like to always get it right. Any other discussion on approval of the minutes? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Next is communications.
You'll find the treasurer's report in your packet on this green sheet of paper. And then next we have a resolution in memoriam of Carlton Zentner. And
the chair will read the resolution in memoriam Carlton Zentner. Whereas Carlton Zentner of Fort Atkinson was born December 10th, 1932 and died on July 14th, 2019. Whereas Carlton Zentner had served on the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors for District 26 from April 2002 to September 2015. And whereas, as a County Board Supervisor, Carlton Zentner served on the Land and Water Conservation Committee, UW Extension Committee, Building and Grounds Veterans Committee, Highway 12 Environmental Impact Study Committee, Solid Waste Air Quality Committee, Farmland Conservation Easement Committee, and the Highway Committee. Whereas Carlton brought his unique perspective on fiscal responsibility to the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. And whereas Carlton Zentner is deserving of recognition by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors for his public service, dedication, and thoughtfulness, which will be missed by many. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, assembled in regular session this 13th day of August 2019, extends its sincere sympathy to Carlton's family with this acknowledgement of his contributions to the citizens of Jefferson County through his dedication to public service. Is there a motion to approve the resolution? Moved and seconded to approve the resolution. Discussion. A comment from the chair. When I was first elected chair, I was given 3 gifts in the form of succinct and I think wise advice. I'll share one of those gifts this evening. It was from Carlton. Carlton's advice to me was don't have coffee with the same people every day. And if you think about it, that advice covers a lot of ground. And I have tried to take that advice to heart as I've served in this capacity. So, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Next in communications, we have the, from the Zoning Committee, the notice of public hearing July 15th, 2019. That's on page 4 and 5 of your packet. That concludes communications. Next is public comment. Do we have any registrants this evening? We do not. So now we go to annual reports, and the first is from Highway Commissioner Bill Kern.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, everyone. This is my, I think the 14th year actually giving an annual report here, so I kind of took a look at that. I'm in my 15th year at the Highway Department, so I don't think I was quite this gray when I started, so I'm not sure what that means, but in Wisconsin, we always talk about 2 seasons. We talk about construction season, and we talk about winter season, so I'm going to highlight those 2 things in my report tonight, just go through a little history on some of our projects from last year we completed and going forward, and this year what we're actually working on now or have completed this year. Then I'll talk a little bit about some success we've actually had with winter maintenance operations. So looking back at last year, if you take our annual report, you find in here there's a page actually on our construction projects. There's 3 projects, main projects we completed last year. The 3 projects were County Highway P up in the Ixonia area. So this is one I think I mentioned last year because it was a 2-phase project. A lot of construction actually needed on that highway, so we split it into 2 consecutive years up there on that segment. And we're seeing a lot of growth, as everybody knows, in that Ixonia area. Seeing a lot of additional traffic actually in our county highways. So it was a well-needed project that hadn't been done for years. That was really needed, and did a lot of improvement work on it. Opened it up late last year after the 2 years, the 2 phases, and it turned out to be a really nice project. It's a really nice connector up there in that area if you live up in that area or drive through that area with the Ixonia development up there. Another project we worked on last year was on County Highway Y. Over the course of about 3 years now, we've actually been working on resurfacing Y throughout the county, starting on the southeastern end of the county, working our way north. And last year we had the last segment to finish up on the north end from Johnson Creek up to Watertown. So that was a piece that we actually anticipated before we got into that project, that we were going to have a little more rehabilitation work on it. It was another older segment that we thought it was going to need a lot more work. But once we got into it, we did some drainage improvements on it, and some culvert replacements on it, redid the surface, or pulverized the surface actually, and did not actually have to get into a lot of underground type work on it, which we actually expected. So it was actually a pleasant surprise actually for that project when we got into it. So that was another one we finished last year. The third project we completed last year was actually on County Highway CW, again up in the Ixonia area to the northeast, kind of the Dodge County line over to Waukesha County. So that was actually another project that was a pretty straightforward project. It was a pulverized paved project where we, about 5 or 6 miles, where we pulverized, relayed the surface in there, and repaved the segment of roadway. And again, it turned out to be a really nice stretch of highway when it got completed. So that kind of worked through the 3 main projects from last year. And stepping forward now into this year, the 2019 season, again, we have 3 projects we are actually working on right now, or have completed. The first one actually was County Highway CI down north of Palmyra, if you're familiar with that area. CI goes from 106 over to Waukesha County, and we did that as an early project last year. Pulverized, pave type of project. Again, fairly straightforward. Finished it up actually early this summer. Went really well and got a lot of compliments actually on not only how efficiently the project went, but just how the condition actually it turned out actually as a really nice paving project for our crews. The project we're working on actually right now, if you see our crews out there, it's probably not only the largest project this year, but probably one of the largest ones we've actually done as far as mileage wise, is actually on County Highway B. Highway B, again, most of you are probably familiar with it, parallels the interstate, goes all the way from Dane County all the way over to Waukesha County, about 22.5, 23 miles. And B was getting to a point where we were looking at a significant pulverized pave project within another 4 or 5 years. And instead of doing that, we decided to do another type of treatment. So we actually are doing it's called a mill pave project up there right now. What it is we're taking the surface, about 1.5 inches of the surface off in a mill project. We're leaving the rest of the core roadway actually in place, including the sub part of the asphalt, and actually just putting a brand new surface actually on that roadway. It's gone extremely well. We're about probably a little over halfway through the project right now. So if you get a chance and you're up in the B area right now, the section from Johnson Creek over to Concord over to F there to the east is all completed and open. By Friday we'll be actually opening up the segment from Lake Mills to Dane County, and then the inner piece from Lake Mills over to Johnson Creek is something we're just starting to do right now, and we'll be working on that segment. So by the end of the season, we'll actually have the full almost 23 miles actually all resurfaced, shouldered, restriped, and we're actually doing some little bit of shoulder widening improvements over some segments of it too. It'll end up with a consistent 30 foot of pavement with 3 to 4 foot shoulders over the whole stretch of Highway B now all the way through, which we didn't have before. So it'll be a really nice improvement. The last project for the season will be kind of a fall project is County Highway A south of Lake Mills. There's a segment there that's been kind of hanging out there for several years. I think it's come before the board in the past because we were trying to buy a right of way actually on that segment for quite a few years here. Finally got that right of way bought now, and we'll be planning on hitting that after our B project is completed. And that is one that will be going late into the fall. We hope it's a fairly complicated project, obviously, with a realignment actually and having to build a whole new core roadway through part of that segment. And so we're hoping to have it done by the end of the fall. Worst case scenario, if we have weather and things like that, we may have to finish it in the spring, but right now we're planning on hitting it in the fall and seeing if we can get it done or not. So that gives you kind of an overview of the projects we've been on last year into this year right now, and I'll kind of change over now to winter maintenance and talk a little bit about winter maintenance. I've been up here before the board probably 3 or 4 times in the last 2 or 3 years talking about winter maintenance and talking about conversion to using a lot more liquids actually in winter. So that's something that we've done a couple of years. We did about 2 years actually of some pilots that I highlighted a little bit at times about some of the success we're actually having on those pilots with using more liquid salt brine and cutting back actually on our dry salt use in the wintertime. Part of that success led to a bunch of changes in our department. We actually decided to make a major shift and actually shift to try to do more training with our guys and try to shift to a higher, even a much higher use of liquids on our primary plow routes and actually cut back on the dry salt usage on our trucks. So last winter we kind of jumped all in and actually went out and worked with the DOT and decided on the state highways and even the 4-lane highways to actually convert over to a much higher liquid use. We didn't stop using rock salt. but we cut our rock salt usage way back to actually make this conversion actually over last winter. And there's two big reasons why we're trying to do that. I mean, part of this process is we're trying to reduce salt usage actually in our county. But part of it is the liquids is a big component of that, but also training is what we discovered is the training is a huge component of that. And that's something we really worked on in the fall and leading into the winter last winter. We took our training to a whole nother level as far as how we were doing our winter maintenance and training our guys on different techniques and application techniques and actually trying to use these liquids as a more primary source over the rock salt. But the reason why we're trying to reduce our rock salt usage is, if you go back to when I started here 14, 15 years ago, salt cost $30 a ton actually in our county. Right now, our bid for next year, we're looking at $80 a ton for salt. So you can do that math real quick. $50 a ton increase in salt costs in about 14 or 15 years. And if you take that and want to equate that out to a winter, if I take our average salt use in the county for our state highways and county highways, we're looking at about a $750,000 increase actually in our winter maintenance just on salt costs over that time period. So looking at that aspect of it, and then environmentally is the other big aspect of it. We're seeing more problems statewide and Midwest with high chloride content in lakes and streams and personal wells. The chloride just goes into the groundwater. It doesn't go in. It takes a long time for it to actually work its way out of the system. So as we're looking at our usage of salt, we're trying to see can we actually reduce that salt usage actually for winter. So taking those two things together, when we did our training with our guys, we trained on both these things, but we also had a heavy emphasis on the fact that we don't just want to go out there and reduce salt usage. We need to make sure safety is still the number one priority of what we're trying to do, and our level of service is still going to stay up where it's at or being close to it actually. So we don't want to see ourselves drop our level of service way down in our operations. So we took those two things into play and went into the winter, and I guess I have some savings to talk to you guys about because we went over in the highway committee, and it was pretty incredible what the guys were able to do this winter. So they really took to this training. Our guys communicated all throughout the winter with our superintendents, worked on the salt usage, worked on their application techniques, worked on using the liquids as opposed to the rock salt as much as possible. And when we got the winter done, we started compiling all the numbers, and our numbers were the same numbers that DOT came up with as we actually sat down to talk about the end of the winter. And what we saw on our state highways, and they were just incredible savings, we cut our salt usage based on the severity of our winter by 6,255 tons on our state highways last winter as opposed to previous winters. That equates out to about a $470,000 savings just on our salt for state highways. On the county highways, we cut our salt usage by over 2,700 tons actually on the county highways. Equates out to about a $206,000 savings actually on the county highways. So when we put it all together at the end of the year, we had a $675,000 savings on winter maintenance just in salt costs. And it ended up being a 54% reduction in salt usage last winter, equated out to a similar winter in the past. We have severity indexes in the DOT, and they're able to equate it out that way too. And we saw just a major reduction, and if you look at it just in that salt totals, in the environmental side of it, we're looking at 9,000 tons less salt we used actually in the county last year on the road highways, or about 18 million pounds of salt less we put down last winter than previous winters. So it was an incredible amount of savings. If we looked at the DOT's data from county highway departments in our area, we were using about 1/2 to 1/3 of what the other county highway departments were actually using in this area for last winter. So it was pretty incredible the reductions we made. And we did it through just a lot of types of work. I mean, we're still trying to work on some of the techniques of what we're trying to do with some of the training, but we're really just trying to emphasize a lot of not wasting the salt, not plowing it off, not dumping it and having it bounce off the highway. A lot of just techniques of how you lay it and how you put it down. But the liquid side of it has become a major factor in us using primary liquids with a supplement of the rock salt actually on the roadways. So we're able to use that supplement, but in a lot of cases, instead of putting down 500, 600, 800 pounds per lane mile of rock salt, we're putting down liquids, and we're putting down 100 pounds per lane mile of rock salt or 200 pounds per lane mile. So we're able to majorly reduce actually the amount of rock salt going down by using the liquids. And what we're finding is there's a different way to manage winter when you do it that way, and it takes a lot of intensive management, and our guys did a good job at it. Things react differently when you use the liquids. They react faster, and So we're still working through some of those details, but we think we had a lot of success last year. You know, a few times we had some growing pains where we learned a few lessons too on how we were trying to apply and what we're trying to do. But in the long run, we actually had a ton of success, and something we're just looking at for going forward, trying to repeat that and actually trying to fine tune some of our training to make sure we actually continue to have that success going forward in our operations. So as we look forward into next year, what we're trying to look at now for goals for next year is just the same thing. We're trying to look at like the winter maintenance side, how we can refine some of our training and continue on with what we're doing with the savings there, but refine some things there. And then again on construction and project work, I think we have some really neat things going on there too, where we're actually finding a lot of efficiencies in our work and operations. Again, dealing with cost increases. You know, when we opened our bids this summer or before the summer, we had a $3 to $4 increase in asphalt this year. So I'm dealing with a couple $100,000, $200,000 or $300,000 increase in costs for projects. But our guys are doing just a great job of finding efficiencies in what they're doing out there and kind of living with those increases and trying to find efficiencies that come in better. So with that, I will wrap up, and I appreciate the chance to say a few things about the highway department here.
Thank you. Our next report is from Presiding Judge William Hugh. Judge? Yeah, it is. Let's try that, see if that makes it better.
Thank you. The Jefferson County Circuit Court system is still ranked among the very best of Wisconsin's 72 counties in timely processing cases measured by the Director of State Courts Office. Unlike many other Wisconsin counties, case backlogs are not a problem here. Our case assignment and processing system ensures the high-quality justice is consistently delivered without undue delay, that public safety is prioritized, and that taxpayer-funded system resources are used wisely and efficiently. Our judges are Branch 1, Judge Will Gruber. He was just elected in April, and his term expires in 2025. Branch 2, that's my court. I'm Bill Hugh. My term also expires 2025. I will have served 30 years as circuit court judge by then, and this is my last term. Last November, I was also appointed deputy chief judge of the 3rd Judicial District. Branch 3 is Judge Robert Deering Jr. His term expires in 2024, and Branch 4 is Judge Ben Brantmeyer. His term expires in 2023. Jefferson County has both a drug and alcohol treatment court. These courts provide intensive court-supervised alcohol and/or drug treatment to criminal offenders who are identified as high risk and high need, and have also demonstrated that this system has also demonstrated that it reduces recidivism and it lowers offender incarceration rates. Judge Deering is the current alcohol and drug treatment court. In January of 2020, Judge Brantmeyer will assume those duties. As of May 31st this year, there have been 29 participants and 6 graduates of the drug treatment court program, and 95 participants and 62 graduates of the alcohol treatment court program. A total of 18,592 jail days have been saved through Jefferson County's commitment to these programs. The Jefferson County Criminal Justice Collaborating Council provides administrative oversight to the treatment courts. It brings together community partners to address criminal justice and public safety issues in an effective and strategic manner. The CJCC meets monthly, and we welcome public input. I currently chair the council, and Judge Deering, as prior presiding judge of the treatment court, will assume that position on January 1st, 2020. Last summer, both upstairs courts received carpet, painting, and furniture updates. These were necessary due to high traffic use from the building remodel in 1993 to current times. Hopefully in the near future, a similar update will take place for the first floor courts. They show signs of heavy wear in use. Like most things, the carpet, paint, and furniture aren't nearly as functional as they were in 1993. The judges appreciate that in tight budget times, 30-year-old carpet replacement has to take a budgetary backseat to things like a fully functional HVAC system. But we also appreciate the effort that has been made to date to update the court's environment. The judges also thank the board for funds allocated to update our American with Disability Act's headsets in our courtrooms, video cameras, monitors, and the door lock at our secure exit, and also for the maintenance for our sound and video system. The Jefferson County Circuit Court system continues to be a leader statewide by delivering justice in a timely and cost-effective manner. All 4 judges appreciate the support we receive from the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. We look forward to continuing our positive, cooperative, working relationship with you as we strive to maintain and enhance the high quality of life that we all enjoy here in Jefferson County.
Thank you, Judge. It's like we have to stay ahead of those potholes, we have to stay ahead of that carpet replacement. Our final annual report for this evening is Fair Park Director Amy Lissel.
I thought I was going to be able to fix the feedback, but there's no gain control on the microphone, so I guess not. Sorry, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Listel, the Jefferson County Fair Park Director. I've been with the Fair Park for 8 years now, and I'm excited that this is my first annual report as director, so I hope you all enjoy it. It's really been a pleasure to work out at the fairgrounds, so I'm excited to be able to continue that. I prepared a document that you all should have received, but then I also put it into a PowerPoint to make it a little bit more exciting. And I took Jim Brockler's public speaking class today, so hopefully I do okay. So I'm really proud to have an awesome year-round staff, many other volunteers and event coordinators that we work with all year long that really truly live and breathe the mission of the Jefferson County Fair Park. And these 2 pictures here are just examples of how we bring those generations together to show their talents and bring entertainment to the fair. The one with the checks is a picture from our Junior Amateur Talent Contest, which is a sanctioned event with the Wisconsin State Fair. So there's 2 age groups, 2 through 12 and 13 through 18. First place from each division can compete at the Wisconsin State Fair. And that's a really unique opportunity for those individuals. This year it was even more unique because it is a statewide event. You can compete at any county fair. And so both of the winners this year, one was from Janesville and one was from Fond du Lac. So we're bringing people from other areas of the state just for that competition, let alone many other things that we're doing at the Fair Park. So one of the big things is that we really pride ourselves on being a tourist destination, and that right there is just one example. The other picture is from our Jefferson County Farm Bureau stand, and that is a member of the Young Farmers and Ranchers division of Farm Bureau, serving ice cream to an older couple at the fair. So we loved that picture. We wanted to share that. And then that just shows another way that we're a huge community partner and supporter of several different organizations. These 2 pictures are pictures of barn decorations that the exhibitors do at the fair every year. And so it's exciting to see all of their work that goes into that. We also have about 45 businesses locally that support the fair, and so I wanted to share those with you because they're a huge part of what we do, and we wanted to recognize and thank them for that. Our facility overview, we are county owned and operated. We have 6 full-time year-round staff members, another 5 part-time and seasonal staff members, and we hire an extra 15 to 20 staff members during the Jefferson County Fair. That doesn't include the hundreds of volunteers that also come out to support us. We are overseen by all of you in the Fair Committee and County Administration, and so I really just want to thank all of you for continuing to support us. We're doing some really awesome things out at the Fair Park, and we are continued to be known as a premier facility all over the U.S., so you all should be very proud to be supporting that as well. You can see here we have over 90 acres with lots of different amenities that we have, which make our facility a place to hold unique events that can't be held at your typical convention center. And we host over 200 events a year, bring in an estimated 200,000 people to our community and to the fair park. And so I highlighted some of those statistics there. You can see every year we are growing with our events, and we're excited for that. We continue to plan to grow. I've provided some of our fun fact sheets that we've been doing. We compiled these in December and released them in January. My two favorite things to highlight from these is the amount of campers that we have. We are a licensed campground, and in 2018, we had 368 campers that stayed with us, and they represented 37 different states and 3 different provinces from Canada. So that was a cool little fun fact I wanted to share with you guys. We've done some recent facility updates, and I wanted to highlight 2 of those in these next 2 slides. One is expanding our Wi-Fi connectivity so that we can do electronic ticketing, and then 2 is our new swine barn. So with the electronic ticketing, it's really been able to give us, our staff, the ability to save time and be a little bit more efficient and collect numbers. So we're really trying to collect as much data as we possibly can, and it's just another way that we can show that we are creating economic impact and a tourist destination. We're bringing in visitors from outside of the county and even outside the state. And we're continuing to grow that. In 2018, we just did concert tickets and Black Friday fair admission ticket specials. In 2019, we added all of our regular admission tickets. So every year we'll continue to add to that and be able to collect data with that. Next up is our new swine barn that you all so graciously supported, as well as several other businesses in our community. And Jones Dairy Farm did the largest donation to the swine barn, so we have given them naming rights as the Jones Dairy Farm Swine Barn. We did do a ribbon cutting on the Saturday of fair with some of the supporters you can see in that picture. And it really is an amazing building. All of the pens inside are removable, so it'll be multi-purpose, and in a couple of months it'll be filled with boats and cars for winter storage. So that has been a great add-on. And we do have a covered wash rack. That's that outside picture there. So that was really helpful for a lot of our exhibitors this year, and they all really enjoyed the building. So thank you all for supporting that. The Jefferson County Fair overall was a great fair. Our attendance was down just a little bit, but it wasn't our worst year, so we're ready for next year. Our dates are July 8th through the 12th of 2020. I did put together a slide just to highlight some of our key entertainment. We do have national music entertainment, unique grounds acts that we bring in for families, and as always, our Fairest of the Fair, Libby, who you have all met, she did a great job for us this year, so wanted to recognize some of those. Every year we do a theme for the fair. The first couple slides that you saw that had the barn decorations in it, our exhibitors and our vendors really look forward to a theme every year. It gives them something new to plan around. This year it was Year of the Carnival, which brought awareness to the mobile amusement industry. That was our goal with this year's theme, and I think we did a great job of that. And then next year, we are already planning for Year of the Goat. Goats are all the rage lately, and the great city of Jefferson even has Goat Island, so we are going to run with that theme. We've already announced it. Our exhibitors are already planning their barn decorations, and we're really excited for Year of the Goat. So we hope you all come out July 8th through the 12th, 2020. As I mentioned before, we like to collect data. So one of the ways we do that is through our website and our various social media avenues. Again, interesting to see that even just our website, the top 5 visitors are first Madison, second Chicago. So we have a lot of people that know us all throughout the Midwest and are following us. We've got some pretty exciting goals that we've been working on and continuing with, really just creating those great relationships within our community and continuing to provide an awesome place for people to come and celebrate all of their talents and accomplishments throughout the year. And as we heard earlier tonight about Farm Technology Days, the Jefferson County Fair Park will be the host site in 2021. We are still finalizing the dates and what that schedule will look like, but we're really excited to continue to bring new events to the Fair Park, and that will be a really big one for us that we're excited to be working with. So that will conclude my annual report. If you ever want to come out for a tour or just to say hi, give us a call. We'd love to talk with all of you. This is just a picture of our full-time staff members that we have right now, and then one of our year-round part-time maintenance workers as well. So if anyone has any questions. Yeah.
I was just curious, is it because you took Jim Brogler's class that you came up with the theme Year of the Goat?
No, we had already chosen Year of the Goat, but I think that means that Jim will continue to come to the fair when he can. Anyone else?
Any other questions?
All right.
Year of the Goat.
Year of the Goat. Thank you, guys.
If you're having a bad day, I recommend that you Google baby goats in pajamas. I guarantee your day will be a little bit better after watching that. Thank you for our presenters this evening for working through the issues we had with the microphones and the feedback. Our main microphones were down, and the handheld proved to be a less than ideal alternative. So thank you for working through that, and our apologies. That concludes annual reports for this evening. Now we'll go to committee reports, resolutions, and ordinances. First to the Building and Grounds Committee, with a resolution approving bid for courthouse elevator modernization and improvement. Supervisor Payne, please.
Resolution number 2019-30. The Central Services Department solicited bids from vendors to perform modernization and improvements to the courthouse elevator. 2 vendors responded to the county's request for proposals. MET Total Elevator Solutions for $178,000. Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. I apologize.
Okay, you can start over.
We'll just 2 vendors responded to the county's request for proposals with base bids. MET Total Elevator Solutions for $122,745 and Cone Inc. for $94,600. 2 alternative bids were included in the RFP. Alternative 1 was to remove and replace the jack assembly. The current unit jack assembly is over 50 years old, with a typical useful life being 25 years. Cone bid was $66,000 and MEI was $51,350. Alternative 2 may be needed if the county accepted alternative 1, that upon the jack assembly being removed, there may be a need to re-drill the cylinder hole in the pit to allow the new assembly to be installed. Cone bid of $64,600 and MEI bid was $56,092. The total cost for the base and both alternative bids totaled the following. Cone is $225,400 and MEI is $230,187. After reviewing these bids, the Building and Grounds Committee determined that Cone Inc. is the lowest responsible bidder, and the county should move forward with alternative 1 and, if needed, alternative 2. This resolution authorizes Jefferson County to enter into a contract with Cone Inc. for the modernization and improvement of the courthouse elevator. The Building and Grounds Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 7, 2019, and recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. The Finance Committee met on August 8, 2019, and authorized the funds appropriate for the parking lot project to be reappropriated as needed for the elevator project. Fiscal note. This cost of this project will be up to $225,400, which has been included in the Central Services budget for 2019. This resolution authorizes the utilization of funds set aside for the courthouse parking lot project to be appropriated for the elevator project as needed. This is a budget amendment. 20 votes will be needed. I move for approval of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to approve the bid for courthouse elevator modernization and improvement. Discussion. We'll have a roll call vote, please. 20 votes are required for adoption.
We have 26 yes and 4 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Now to the Executive Committee with a resolution for creation of the 2020 Jefferson County Complete Count Committee. Supervisor Renard, please.
Resolution number 2019-31. The U.S. Census Bureau is required by the U.S. Constitution to conduct a count of the population, which provides an historic opportunity to help shape the foundation of our society and play an active role in American democracy. Jefferson County is committed to ensuring that every Jefferson County resident is counted by creating a complete count committee, which is a volunteer group of community leaders that will play a key role to educate and motivate residents to participate in the 2020 census. This resolution demonstrates the commitment of Jefferson County to partner with the U.S. Census Bureau in participating in the 2020 census and creates a complete count committee to help ensure that every Jefferson County resident is counted. The Executive Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on July 31st, 2019, and recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors hereby creates a complete count committee to help ensure that every Jefferson County resident is counted in the 2020 census, with membership of the committee consisting of at least 9 members, but not more than 15 members, appointed by the County Board Chair, which shall include some or all representation from heads of community organizations, heads of business associations, heads of the public school systems, members of socially or economically disadvantaged populations, heads of relevant government agencies and departments, and any other representation which the chair determines will further the mission of the Complete Count Committee. Members will receive mileage and no per diem for serving on this committee. Be it further resolved that Jefferson County is committed to partnering with the U.S. Census Bureau and the state of Wisconsin in participating in the 2020 census and will, 1, support the goals and ideals for the 2020 census and will disseminate 2020 census information. 2, encourage all county residents to participate in events and initiatives that will raise the overall awareness of the 2020 census and increase participation. 3, provide census advocates to speak to the county and community organizations. 4, support census takers as they help our county complete an accurate count. And 5, strive to achieve a complete and accurate count of all persons within our borders. Fiscal note, the fiscal impact of creating the Jefferson County Complete Count Committee will be determined based on the number of meetings required. I move approval of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to create the 2020 Jefferson County Complete Count Committee. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Resolution is adopted. Recommendations are welcome for service on this committee. I'd note that this is not a policy-making or an advisory committee. It's a working committee, which will be tasked with getting out in the community and encouraging people to participate in the census. Next from the Executive Committee is a resolution creating the Jefferson County Condemnation Commission. Supervisor Renard, please.
And this is the blue sheet that was on your desk this evening. Resolution number 2019, I have short-term memory, 32. Eminent domain, also referred to as condemnation authority, is the power of local, state, and federal governments to compel a private property owner to sell property to the government for public use as long as the owner is paid just compensation. As part of the condemnation procedure, Wisconsin Statute Section 32.08, Parent 1, requires the creation of a condemnation commission consisting of 6 commissioners. Each commissioner must be a resident of Jefferson County or of an adjoining county in the same Jefferson County Judicial Circuit prior to appointment and remain so during the term of office. This resolution creates the statutorily required condemnation commission for Jefferson County. The Executive Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on July 31st, 2019, and the Finance Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 8th, 2019. Both committees recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Jefferson County Condemnation Commission is hereby created, and the hourly rate for commissioners shall be $100 per hour when attending Condemnation Commission hearings and viewing property, and $70 per hour for reviewing cases, preparing decisions, and performing other required duties. Fiscal note, Jefferson County will be responsible for paying compensation and expenses related to all condemnation commission proceedings. Compensation and expenses paid by Jefferson County for condemnation proceedings commenced by other condemnation authorities will be reimbursed to the county by the condemnor or on order approved by the circuit judge pursuant to Section 32.08, Parent 4, Wisconsin statutes. I move approval of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to create the Jefferson County Condemnation Commission. Discussion. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Your votes are locked. We have 25 yes and 4 absent and 1 no.
The resolution is adopted. Now to the Finance Committee with a resolution disallowing the claim of Valerie Westenberg. Supervisor Jones, please.
Resolution number 2019-33. A claim has been made against Jefferson County for damages. The claim has been reviewed by the county's insurance carrier, Wisconsin Municipal Mutual Insurance Company, and was recommended for disallowance based on the finding that the county has no liability for this claim and is not legally responsible for the alleged damages. This resolution formally denies the claim filed against Jefferson County and directs the Corporation Counsel to give the claimant notice of disallowance. On July 11, 2019, the Finance Committee considered this resolution, recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note, this matter has been referred to the Wisconsin Municipal Mutual Insurance Company, WMIC, and will be resolved in accordance with terms of the county policy. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to disallow the claim of Valerie Westenberg. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Now a resolution disallowing the claim of Kim Buckley. Supervisor Jones.
Resolution number 2019-34. A claim has been made against Jefferson County for damages. The claim has been reviewed by the county insurance carrier, Wisconsin Municipal Mutual Insurance Company, and was recommended for disallowance based on the findings that the county has no liability for its claim and is not legally responsible for the alleged damages. This resolution formally denies the claim filed against Jefferson County and directs the Corporation Counsel to give the claimant notice of disallowance. On July 11, 2019, the Finance Committee considered this resolution and recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note, this matter has been referred to Wisconsin Municipal Mutual Insurance Company, WMIC, and will be resolved in accordance with the terms of the county policy. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to disallow the claim of Kim Buckley. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Finally, from the Finance Committee, a proclamation proclaiming the month of August as Child Support Awareness Month in Jefferson County. Supervisor Jones, please.
Proclamation number 2019-6. Research shows that a child's well-being, economic security, and success in life are improved when the child has a legal father and the financial support of both parents. Wisconsin child support agencies provide services to the public, such as ensuring that children have a legal father designated on their birth certificates and that children have the financial support needed to grow and thrive. County child support agencies recognize the importance of providing services to both parents, which helps them financially support their children and encourages involvement in their children's lives. Wisconsin child support agencies collected over $772 million in 2018 and ranked 4th nationally in the collection of child support in 2018. This proclamation proclaims the month of August as Child Support Awareness Month in Jefferson County and recognizes that August is also National Child Support Awareness Month. The Finance Committee considered this proclamation at the meeting on July 11, 2019, and recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note, the resolution has no fiscal impact. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this proclamation.
Moved and seconded to proclaim the month of August as Child Support Awareness Month in Jefferson County. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Proclamation is adopted. Now to the Human Services Board with a resolution accepting the bid from Energy Services Incorporated to manage the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program. Supervisor Mode, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution number 2019-36, accepting bid from Energy Services Incorporated to manage the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program. The Jefferson County Human Services Department manages the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program and contracts with Energy Services, Inc. to administer this program. On May 20th, 2019, the Jefferson County Human Services Department published a request for proposals seeking bids to manage the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program after the existing contract with Energy Services Incorporated ends on September 30th, 2019. The current contractor, Energy Services, Inc., was the only vendor to submit a bid in response to the request for proposals. This resolution accepts the bid from Energy Services, Inc. to manage the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program and authorizes the Human Services Department to enter into a contract with Energy Services, Inc. in the amount of $118,748, commencing on October 1st, 2019, and ending on September 30th, 2020, with the option for annual renewals for up to 3 years. The Human Services Board considered this resolution at its meeting on July 9th, 2019, and recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors hereby accepts the bid from Energy Services, Inc. to manage the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program and authorizes the Human Services Department to enter into a contract with Energy Services, Inc. in the amount of $118,748, commencing on October 1st, 2019, and ending on September 30th, 2020, with the option for annual renewals for up to 3 years. Fiscal note. All payments made to Energy Services, Inc. for managing the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program will be reimbursed to Jefferson County by the State of Wisconsin Department of Administration. Revenue for the expenditures associated with this program have been accounted for in the Human Services budget. Mr. Chairman, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to accept the bid from Energy Services Incorporated to manage the Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program. Discussion. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Your votes are locked. 26 yes, 4 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Now to the Parks Committee with a resolution authorizing a cooperative agreement between the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources and Jefferson County. Supervisor Teets, please.
Resolution number 2019-36, authorizing a cooperative agreement between the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources and Jefferson County. The Jefferson County Parks Department is working with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources to construct a handicap accessible access point to the Bark River and Rome Pond wildlife area. The project will include an ADA accessible canoe kayak launch and additional parking for access off of County Highway E at Bark River in the town of Sullivan. The purpose of this project is to increase access to the DNR wildlife area for hunters and fishermen in accordance with Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Master Plan. This resolution will authorize Jefferson County to enter into a cooperative agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources to increase access to the DNR wildlife areas for hunters and fishermen on the Bark River and Rome Pond in accordance with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Master Plan. Entering into a cooperative agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources will provide up to $13,380 of federal grant funds as reimbursement to Jefferson County. Parks Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 5th, and the Finance Committee considered the resolution at its meeting on August 8th, 2019. Both committees recommended forwarding this resolution to the County Board for approval. Moving forward to the now therefore be it resolved that the Parks Department is authorized to enter into a cooperative agreement on behalf of Jefferson County with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources for construction of an ADA accessible canoe kayak launch, which includes additional parking for access off of County Road E at the Bark River in the town of Sullivan. Be it further resolved that Jefferson County will provide labor and materials for the project with the expected reimbursement by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources in the amount of $13,380. Fiscal note, Jefferson County will provide labor for this project, which has been previously budgeted and will not exceed the reimbursement amount of $13,380. No budget adjustment is required. I move for passage of Resolution 2019-36.
Moved and seconded to authorize a cooperative agreement between the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources and Jefferson County. Discussion. Supervisor Kennard, please.
I met out there with the Parks Department here, like I guess was last fall, and the DNR was there too. This will be a pretty good spot. There is a fire dry hydrant there that I think they're going to leave there. And this is going to be beyond there. The county does own a pretty good chunk of land there, so this ought to be a good project.
Thank you. Further discussion? We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Votes are locked. 26 yes, 4 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Now to the Planning and Zoning Committee with a report on approval of petitions, followed by the ordinance amending the official zoning maps. Supervisor Jekyll, please.
To the honorable members of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, the Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee, having considered petitions to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, filed for public hearing and held on July 18, 2019, as required by law pursuant to Wisconsin statutes, notice thereof having been given and being duly advised of the wishes of the town boards and persons in the areas affected, hereby make the following recommendation. Approval of petitions as listed. Dated this 22nd day of July 2019, Blaine Paulson, Secretary. Then we move on to ordinance number 2026? Ordinance number 6, 2019. Amending the official zoning maps. Whereas Jefferson County Board of Supervisors has heretofore been petitioned to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, and whereas petitions as listed were referred to Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee for public hearing on July 18, 2019, and whereas the proposed amendments have been given due consideration by the Board of Supervisors in open session, now therefore be ordained that Jefferson County Board of Supervisors does amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County as follows. And I move for adoption of this ordinance.
Moved and seconded to amend the zoning ordinance as printed. Discussion. Supervisor Kennard, please.
I will abstain for potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor of amending the zoning maps as printed, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance is amended. Now an appointment by the county administrator, Mr. Waymeyer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. By virtue of the authority invested in 59.18, Parent 2, Parent B of the Wisconsin statutes, I hereby respectfully request confirmation of the following appointment. Wustenberg of Johnson Creek to the Sheriff's Civil Commission to fill the unexpired term of Lee Levinson ending January 1st, 2023.
Moved and seconded to approve the appointment of Lyle Westenberg to Johnson Creek to the Sheriff's Civil Service Commission. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The appointment is confirmed. Now, public comment. Does any member of the public wish to address the board at this time? Okay, then we'll move to announcements. Are there any announcements? It appears there are no announcements. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved and seconded to adjourn. Is there any objection to adjourning? We are adjourned. Thank you.